The waves crashed relentlessly against the side of a small wooden boat until it finally gave way. Emma, a 25-year-old traveler, was thrown onto the warm sand of an unknown island. Her chest rose and fell heavily as she gasped for air, her soaked clothes clinging to her body. Beside her, a small brown dog with bright, alert eyes shook off the seawater. His name was Max. Though shivering, Max quickly regained his composure and barked softly, as if to remind Emma that they were alive. Emma sat up slowly, scanning her surroundings. The island stretched wide with dense green forests, tall palm trees, and the distant sound of birds. The salty wind carried the scent of ripe fruit. Exhausted but determined, Emma whispered to her companion, "We'll survive, Max. We have to."
The island was teeming with fruit trees. Coconuts, bananas, and mangoes hung from branches. Emma broke open a coconut with a jagged rock, letting Max drink first before quenching her own thirst.
They wandered further inland, and Max darted ahead, barking at the sound of flapping wings. Flocks of parrots flew above, while the ground was littered with fallen guavas. Emma gathered what she could, creating a small stash near the beach. By nightfall, Emma built a fire with dried branches. She grilled a fish Max had discovered in the shallow tide pools. The crackling flames cast flickering light across their tired faces. For the first time that day, Emma felt a small spark of hope. The second night on the island was different. The air felt heavier, and the jungle echoed with unfamiliar sounds. Somewhere deep within the trees, a low growl rolled across the darkness. Max stiffened, his ears standing tall and his fur bristling. He stood protectively in front of Emma, eyes fixed on the tree line. Emma gripped a sturdy branch, her heart racing. Minutes stretched into what felt like hours, yet no creature appeared. Still, the warning was clear. They weren't the only ones living here. Emma leaned closer to Max. "We'll stay alert," she whispered. The little dog wagged his tail once, a silent promise that he would guard her with all his courage. By the third morning, Emma knew she couldn't just stay near the beach. If she wanted a chance at rescue, she needed to explore deeper into the island. She tied strips of fabric to tree branches as markers, with Max always a few steps ahead. The jungle was alive. Vines tangled between massive trunks, colorful flowers bloomed in the shade, and streams sparkled with freshwater fish. Twice, Max's sharp instincts saved Emma, once from slipping into a hidden pit covered in leaves, and again from walking too close to a steep cliffside. Emma marveled at Max's intelligence. "You're more than just a pet," she said, stroking his head. "You're my partner." Max barked proudly, tail wagging. Hours passed until they reached a high ridge. From there, the vast ocean spread endlessly, but Emma spotted something, tiny shapes of boats far on the horizon. Emma's pulse quickened. If she could signal the boats, maybe they would notice. She climbed the rocky ridge, Max following closely. At the summit, she tore a strip of red fabric from her shirt and tied it to a long branch, planting it firmly into the ground. The makeshift flag fluttered wildly in the wind, bright against the blue sky. Emma waved both arms, shouting though her voice was swallowed by the waves. Max barked repeatedly, as if adding his own call for help. As the sun began to set, Emma's heart filled with both fear and determination. Would the boats see her? Would rescue come? Or would she and Max need to rely on each other longer, facing whatever secrets the island still held? Together, girl and dog stood on the cliff, united by survival, hope, and the unspoken bond of adventure. The next morning, when Emma and Max returned to the cliff, the boats had already vanished. Disappointment clenched her chest, but Max barked wildly, circling in excitement. Emma followed his gaze and noticed it, thin smoke rising in the distance from somewhere deeper within the island. "Could it be people?" she whispered. Hope reignited, and she decided to follow the trail with Max leading the way. The sound of crashing waves faded as they pushed through the jungle. The journey was grueling, crossing streams, climbing sharp rocks, and avoiding thorny undergrowth. Yet Max's keen senses and Emma's determination carried them closer to the mysterious smoke. After hours of trekking, they emerged into a small valley where bamboo huts clustered around a fire. A group of islanders, sun-kissed and simply dressed, turned to face the strangers. Max barked defensively, but Emma calmed him. Raising her hands, she signaled peace. Suspicion lingered in their eyes, yet when they saw Emma's exhaustion, they offered her water and food.
Though language separated them, gestures bridged the gap. Emma learned they had lived on the island for generations. They taught her to catch fish using bamboo traps, to gather exotic fruits found only deep in the forest, and to build smoky fires that warded off mosquitoes. Max quickly became the children's favorite playmate, bounding around with tireless energy. A week later, Emma discovered the tribe owned small boats capable of sailing out to sea. They gave her a choice: return to the outside world or remain and live among them. That night, Emma sat on the beach, Max resting his head on her lap. The waves whispered against the shore, while the starlit sky stretched endlessly above. She thought of her old life: crowded streets, endless deadlines, and lonely nights. Here she had found something different: peace, friendship, and a new sense of belonging. Smiling softly, Emma stroked Max's fur. Maybe the true adventure is to stay. And so Emma and Max chose the island, not as castaways, but as explorers who had finally discovered their home.